Hello, today we're going to talk about a stretch, and I'm going to show you on the mat here is really good for anyone who likes long distance running, anyone who commutes to work on a bicycle or does lots of long distance or even shortish distance. There's lots of cycling here, there and everywhere, as well as anyone who sits at a desk for their job. So I'm pretty much talking to everyone, I presume. So why we're looking at it is we're talking about the front of the hips here and the back of the pelvis. So they tend to get really tight when you're in this flexed position here. So what we're looking at doing is opening out the back of the hip as well as the front of the hip in one nice easy stretch. There are a couple of modifications that we can do for it, and I'll show you these as we go along. So the easiest way to start is get on your mat or the floor. It's a really nice easy one to do anywhere. So try it. If you need a mat, try it later with a mat. So start with the feet together. We'll do one side and then the other. You take a step forward here. You come down onto all fours, up, bring the foot across. So it's on the opposite side. So you've almost got your feet crossed here, and then come down. So this is a nice easy way to start. So you've got both knees and your back foot and your front foot making contact with the floor. In this position, all you have to start to do is you can stretch back a little bit more if you want. Sometimes the knee starts to ache a little bit. If it does, I'll show you a modification in a minute that helps you combat that. So at the moment, just let your front foot lay flat. So you've got the top of your foot just resting on the floor there, so it's not doing any work, and your back toes are digging in nicely. Now, this stretch, in this position, you should start to feel a little bit of a stretch around here, not too much, and a little bit of a stretch through the front of the opposite hip here. If your lower back is sore, make sure not to arch backwards, so keep your body angling forwards. From here, we start with the front hip stretch. So imagine, if you interlock your fingers, imagine that there's a hook underneath, so you're being lifted rather than pushing. In that way, you help stretch out the front of the body here, rather than, again, arching backwards and potentially hurting your lower back. So it's really important you think about you're opening the front here, rather than compressing the lower back there. So you interlock your fingers, and you reach up, and you just stretch forwards, stretching forwards and up, and hold this position, and you should feel that stretch through the front here and going down into that hip of the leg that's backwards. Hold this for 10, 15, 20 seconds, reaching up. As you feel it release, just reach up again a little bit more, and then come down. The next part of the stretch is to look at the back of the hip here. So stay in the same position, and what you want to be doing is relaxing forwards. And if you can relax forwards, you should feel that deep stretch through the back of the hip. Now, this is where if you're getting any problems with your knee, or you have particularly sore knees for any other reason, this is where this can start to cause pain. So the modification here, instead of just coming forwards, you just roll onto your knee. So you're not stretching down, you're coming down. And if you want to rest this hip on the floor, that's absolutely fine. So if I rest this hip on the floor, there's no pressure going through my knee here. You can also open out the knee a little bit more if you want. And then you just reach forwards. And you should feel that stretch really deeply. Sometimes into the inner thigh as well, but that's absolutely fine. It's a nice all-round stretch for the hip. And you're coming forward, and a slight modification is we just walk our hands round, walk round. You can come round this way as well, and you'll get that stretch as you come round this way into the one side of your lower back. And then come round to the middle. Stand up, and stand up. Now I'll show you that on the other side so you can see what it looks like from both sides. So this time, this foot back, this one forwards, coming down, up, foot across, and then down again. So again, we've got foot resting, foot toes resting, and both knees making contact. Here we have the arms, and we stretch up. again, remembering not to come backwards but to go up and forwards. And if you're not feeling that stretch through the front of the hip, really drive the hip forwards. So you drive it into the floor here as you're doing the stretch. And then come down. And again, if you're getting problems with your knee, just rest onto the side. Otherwise, stay up here, come down, and rest in each position. Don't try and work through it too quickly. This video is faster than I would expect you to do it. And then you walk your hands round, feeling that stretch through the back of the hip, and round. Stand up, give your legs a little shake off, and you're finished.